And my content's for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough for you guys to do your own research. Praise my content. Throw in the comments you find any errors. None of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past. None of us can live long enough to know all there is to learn. Okay. How the people? What's up? What it is, what it ain't, what it do, what it be like. Hey, still ain't smoked a cigarette. Shout out to me. Yeah. Anyway, man, I wanted to, one of the quicker reads, as I like to call them, thin pamphlet like this, only, what's that? I think it's only 29 pages. Yeah, I read it today. Had it for a little bit. But it's very, very informative for, the novice as it comes, as it relates to the universal laws. I wanted to share. It's gonna have to go in parts, but I felt that it's, the information is so compelling that I felt the need to share it with you guys. And as always, it's my hope that somebody can extract some benefit. I know, any of the seekers will definitely extract some benefit from it. It's titled 12 Universal Laws, and it has another inscription. It says, "Become a Law of Attraction Master in 12 Steps" by Christine Erickson. Okay, so I'm gonna start by reading the introduction. It says, "We have all heard the stories or rumors of the elusive universal laws. These are laws that supposedly control everything in the universe. They cannot be disputed nor diverted. They just simply are. For some, this is a hard pill to swallow, especially those that were raised in Christian homes. They are taught that there is only one controlling force in the universe, and that is the one and only Almighty God. I am going to attempt to explain these laws to you in a way you can understand and grasp them. As I go, you will see these do not dispute God, but rather enhance the possibility or surety of God. Some see this as New Age, but really it isn't. But really it isn't what it is. But really it isn't. What it is just the way things are." That may sound a bit strange to some, but to those people I ask that you just sit back and read this and then make the decision for yourselves. Let go of your prejudices and you will see that these laws are absolute. Like I said, they just are. Okay. Very important, people. I want to say this before I even start, reading, that when you encounter new information, it is very important that you set aside your prejudices, set aside, what you think you know. Again, I don't say it just because it sounds slick. It's none of us can live long enough to know all there is to learn, and none of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past. It's not beneficial for any of us to walk around chest poked out, assuming that our cup of knowledge is full. Hence, comes pride. You know what precedes the fall. Anyway, all right, chapter 1 speaks about the law of the divine oneness, okay? The first of the universal laws is the universal law of divine oneness. This law states that everything and everyone is connected to everything and everyone else. This states that what we think, say, do, and believe will have a corresponding effect on others and the universe around us. This is the equivalent of the Bible statement in John 15:5. Jesus, anyway, I'm gonna read it how they wrote it. Jesus states, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you abide in me, I will abide in you. Without me, you are nothing." This states that indeed we as humans are part of a larger entity. Without each part of this entity, nothing can exist. In other words, the whole is the sum of its parts. We'll read that again for y'all. Okay. Now, mind you, even though it gives Bible quotes and it points out specific things that are stated in the Bible, it's not my job to direct anybody on how to interpret this information. I interpret it the way I interpret it. I just don't want to get into, too much of a, well, no, you can't. Everybody believe as they want to believe, man. I'm just here to dispense this information and share it with y'all. Whatever way you feel as though it applies or you can derive benefit from, then by all means handle that. But I'm gonna read that again because, and I'm gonna elaborate on the understanding I get. This is the equivalent of the Bible statement in John 15:5. Jesus states, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you abide in me, I will abide in you. Without me, you are nothing." Okay, this states that indeed we as humans are part of a larger entity. Without each part of this entity, nothing can exist. In other words, this is the part. The whole is the sum of its parts. Understanding I get from that is basically, look at what's eternal within you. Only thing that can be is the soul. The soul that those of us that have one in body are the parts. Not all of the parts because, and I'm not going to get into it because it's a whole lot. You talk about the angels, the beings of light, it's a whole lot of levels to this thing, but I'm talking about as far as humans go. Those of us that have souls encased in this, this avatar, all right? Some people term this as synergy. This is defined as the outcome of a collective energy. Well, loosely defined anyway. The point is there is a collective energy, life force, or whatever you want to call it. We cannot achieve anything on our own. It is virtually impossible. Someone gave you an idea. Someone directed you to a certain place. Even a certain web page maybe that had the opportunity you were looking for. Even an individually owned businesses, the owner got the idea, the financial backing, or direction from someone else. No matter how elusive that someone else may be. This is even pointed to in the Bible when God told married couples to separate from their families and become one. We are all one. We all have the same desires, the same dreams. We all want peace, to be able to love our families, to be able to live without hate and anger. It may not seem like it with all of the terrorist organizations out there now, but think about it. Even they want freedom to worship their God, freedom to be in their homes with their families. They want to see a better world. It just may not be the better world you want. Hold on, pardon me, y'all. It just may not be the better world that you perceive it to be or think it should be. It is still a driving force, and they come together as one to try and achieve those goals. We are all one at the end of the day, and this is the concept of the law of oneness. When this law states that all that we say, do, and believe will have a corresponding effect on others and the universe around us, it is saying that as a collective, that as a collective, what we think, if we think the world is going to hell in a handbasket, then that is eventually what will happen. If we go out every day and spread hate and disdain to our children, neighbors, and families, hate will be the ultimate outcome, kind of like mob mentality. When we all believe that one group of people or a place is bad for whatever reason, that person or place will become bad. It's whatever you tell your subconscious. Alright, when you tell someone all of their lives that they don't matter or that they are not loved, or you call them names, this will imprint on their minds, and those things are ultimately what they will become. To combat this, you have to spread love instead of hate. Tell someone they are loved and worthy. Know in your heart that all humans are basically the same energy, and put that out there every chance you get, and this is what will begin to happen. They're speaking of the collective consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, this ain't nothing but titty milk right here. I'm not going, I'm making this video for the people that, haven't, been exposed to the universal laws as of yet. Or if you have, you might have heard of them. But this is just to give you an introductory, framework and like I said, an introduction to some of the universal laws, so you can get an idea as to how they work. Okay, that was the law of divine oneness. Chapter 2 gets into the law of vibration. This is a law that, even though it has always been around, it is a universal law. When I pause like this shit just ain't making sense, man. The way they put these words just don't sound right to me. But I'm gonna figure it out and read it so it's understandable to y'all. I'm gonna read it how it is. It says, "This is a law that, even though it has always been around, it is a universal law, is just now starting to come to the forefront. Those that have studied the concept of these laws have known these things all along. Simply put, everything in the universe moves, vibrates, and travels in a circular pattern. The same principles of vibration in the physical world apply to our thoughts, feelings, desires, and wills in the etheric world. Each sound, thing, and even thought has its own vibrational frequency. This is the law that comes into play when you walk into a room and you get a weird vibe. This is the frequency that is put forth by someone or group of someones in that room. You are able to sense this because of the law of vibration. This is also a vital part of the law of attraction, which we will discuss in a later chapter. Not acknowledging this law is also the reason the law of attraction seems not to work for some people. The two are vital to one another, and the law of attraction cannot be utilized without recognition of the law of vibration. You know? It is what it is, people. If something irritates or upsets you, you have to let it go. The best way to do this is to be thankful for the spiritual lesson and move on. In order for the law of vibration to begin to work, you have to set your emotions and your thought on what it is you want to achieve. You have to align your energies to your desired results. In order to do this, you must be able to distinguish the negative from the positive and only use the positive. The law of vibration is our so-called intuition. It is the sense of the direction something is going or needs to go. When you get in tune with and align yourself under this principle, you will begin to realize where to go and avoid, who to be around and who to avoid. You will begin to use the same principles that drives the birds to leave a specific area a certain time of the year, or for whales to migrate at certain times. It is the vibrations that they intuitively recognize and follow. Just in their cases, it is the vibration of the Earth's magnetic force. It is still the same concept, however. To fully harness this law, to use to your advantage, you must send out vibrations of your own to attract what you are seeking. So you must learn to carry and put forth only positive vibrations. If you do not, see, they don't have it punctuated right as well. That's why I'm, anyway. If you allow doubt or uncertainty to begin to creep in, you will quickly realize that you are only getting bad results. As I said, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions carry their own vibration. So you need to do whatever is necessary to keep those things in agreement with your goals. You must act as if you have already become or received what it is that you are wanting. I've said this before. I just read the book today, though. Anyway, I read it while I was at work. In the Bible, this is worded as the verse that states, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can tell that mountain to move, and it will move. Figuratively, y'all understand, the mountain is indicative of what it is that you're seeking, what it is that you're striving for, what it is you're attempting to materialize in this third dimension. Remember how I say in the last video, I said we're going to collar life the fuck up and tell life which way it's going to go. We're going to collar them demons of ours up and tell them how things are going to go, what they're going to do. Train them just like you train a dog. You sit your monkey ass down until I tell you you can come out. This is what they talking about. You dig? You know. Matthew 17:20. Jesus is telling his disciples to believe and as if it had, hold on. Jesus is telling his disciples to believe as if it has already happened and it will. Okay? Manifestation 101. Magic 101. Matthew 17:20. Jesus is telling his disciples to believe as if it has already happened and it will. However, the hard part is staying vigilant in that behavior or belief, but it's absolutely essential that you do so, no matter what. Anybody that views the channel, has heard about stories. Some years ago, I used to ride my daughters around, just when there wasn't really too much of nothing to do. Show them, nice neighborhoods with them, $3, $5, and $800,000 houses, and tell them, we gonna be living like this. This is how we about to be living. And in less than 6 months, we was living like that. You dig what I'm saying? So it's when I say you gotta command your thoughts, ain't no room for complaining about nothing. Because we are all the sole authors of our lives. What you have and the lack of what you have. You're the author. If you don't have something that you want, you didn't put the work in. If you don't have the kind of life that you're satisfied with, then you missed a step somewhere. Or you got too comfortable or complacent. This is why I'm laying out these universal laws now, man, because a lot of times what I realized when I first got into these and started understanding the way the universe works and how energy, vibration, and frequency work, and once you harness and control them emotions, see, it's a lot of stuff they don't teach us, y'all. A lot of stuff they don't teach us. I was telling one of my coworkers the other day, man, it's 12 emotions, man. How come we was only taught 2? Mainly, love and hate, happiness, sadness, anger. The basic shit, the carnal shit. It's 12 emotions, man. It's 12 different ways you can respond or react or look at a situation. So if it's 12 emotions and we only been taught a few, mentally, psychologically, maturity-wise, we've been crippled to think and act as children. Largely. I'm just pointing shit out, man. Because I know when I became conscious and I learned a lot of the things that I know today, I was pissed off. Oh, I was highly pissed off. You mean to tell me all the shit that I done did chasing this bullshit ass, these Federal Reserve notes, all the fucking time I did? Many times as I done risked my life, and this shit ain't even got no motherfucking worth. You can't even go get no gold or nothing. Man, yo, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on, man. They told me, man, well, they didn't tell me, but it's a saying, man, that, becoming conscious, it ain't all what it's cracked up to be, man, because the more conscious you get, the more fucked up life look to you. you really gotta, choose happiness. You literally have to choose happiness. Because it's a lot of shit that you can be pissed off and depressed or all of that, whatever the case, about. When you get to learning the truth. But anyway, we get on back to it. Get on back to it. Now, this is an important one right here. This is an important one. Chapter 3. The law of action. This is very simply putting your thoughts into actions. As powerful as the universe is, and it is very powerful, we cannot just sit idly by and things just happen. As we are sitting on our couches, eating chips, watching TV. If you want money, you have to go get it. Whether that be by going out and actively looking for a job or showing up at the job we already have to get that raise we are needing or wanting. This is putting your faith into action. As in the last example, you actually have to tell the mountain to move. You can't just want it to move and not act on that thought or that ambition or that desire. If you want to see a happier world, you actually have to go out and be happy, both with yourself and others around you. Want a kinder world? Be kind to somebody. This is kind of the same concept of the law of vibration. But whereas in the case of vibration, which is our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, this is actual doing. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between doing and being. It's just like, I look at it like it's just like working out, man. In order to, sculpt your body, you have to hit muscles from usually 3 angles. Like for the chest, you got the upper pectorals, you have the mid, and you have the lower. You have the front delts. I forget the actual name, but these are the center delts, and then you have the rear delts. That'll give your shoulder that full shoulder look. All that translated to, you can't do shit halfway and expect the best results. You gotta go all in. You got to go all in, man. What you seek is actually seeking you. Let me see. Okay. All right. If you want a strong relationship, then you have to be the one to show love, compassion, and understanding first. If you are a naturally grumpy person or one who gripes about everything, then you have to change your actions to reflect what it is you are seeking. Love more, smile more, say hello more, offer a helping hand more. In the case of money, if you want to do it by working from home and being able to make your money that way, then you need to actually find an opportunity. And if you are truly in alignment with your wants and needs, you will intuitively be drawn to the program or method you need to achieve your dreams. That's how the universe works. See, it's funny, man, how we was miseducated, man. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go ahead. However, you have to make that first step towards actually helping the universe manifest your desires. I hope y'all paying attention, man, because this is giving up some serious jewels, some serious gems. All right, and just like in the book Think and Go Rich. You know, I forget the author's name. What is it? Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill. You know, when you're ready for it, you'll grasp it. Because it's all within what I'm talking to you about. It's all in there. You'll grasp it when you're ready for it, if you ever become ready for it. All right. This is not popular with most people because most people have the idea that the universe will simply give you what you want just because you want it bad enough. Sound familiar? But like I said, you have to begin to make the opportunities you seek. And if you are truly using the law of vibration, what you want will be drawn to you or you to it, whichever. In the case of your emotions, you have to learn to control them. It is proven not just by science, but by basic human reaction. Excuse me. If you are angry, then you will act out in anger. If you are sad, you will base your actions on that sadness. It is to be noted that if any negative emotions present itself in your life more than a positive emotion, you may need to look into ways of balancing yourself and your energies to overcome those negative emotions. That type of ongoing negativity will block you at all points. Yeah. You know? It's deeper. It gets even deeper, man. But for my old heads, y'all remember the song Anger? Marvin Gaye came out. Anger will make you old. Yeah. It'll fuck you up. Your emotions have physiological effects. You know, your thoughts, depending on the kind of thoughts you having or you allowing, they have physiological effects. Your vibrations, your sense of connection, and your actions, therefore causing a chain reaction that will block what it is you are trying to achieve. There are many alternatives available to you: aromatherapy, yoga, meditation, etc. It would do well to look into any of these. That way you can be assured that what you are trying to achieve will have a clear path to you. It's how you balance your shit. Aromatherapy, yoga, meditation. There are other ways. You know, you gotta mess around and find out which one works for you. You know? You know, that's if this is resonating for you, because it don't resonate with everybody. Everybody ain't with what I'm speaking about. You know, some of them still, you know, sucking on the titty of the oppressors and the information they were given via them. You know, the conquerors, the rewriters of history. You know. Yeah. Anyway. Where we at? 34. I'm going to do this next one. And then, let me see. How many pages is it? 29. 29. Okay, so I'll read that one. I'll read up to chapter 5. And then I'll cut it. And I'll have to come back and do a part 2 to finish it. Okay, chapter 4 is the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence, people. Excuse me. Yeah, y'all already know. Excuse me. All right. Okay, the law of correspondence. This is the law that states that for everything in the corporeal world, there is a corresponding or same thing in the physical world. The physical world reflects what we say and think. In other words, if you feel and think love, then love will be reflected in your concrete reality. Those people that want to see a positive change in their life have to make positive thought changes. I told you, your thoughts dictate your actions. If you want more peace, you have to think and feel peaceful. As a society, we tend to focus on the negative in the world since that is what is shoved in our faces on a daily basis. That's why I do not watch TV. Not regular TV, cable programming and all, because it's programming. Literal programming. You want to think twice, I think not. As a society, as a society, we tend to focus on the negative in the world since that is what is shoved in our face on a daily basis. Not by accident either. From our news broadcasts and newspaper articles to what is trending on social media. If you really think about it, a news story on a natural disaster or a murder are going to get more airtime than a story about the neighborhood that set up a yard sale to help a local church. When you look at your Twitter feed, what do you see? Do you see more tweets on a political scandal, or do you see the organization that is trying to raise money for the homeless? When you pick up your newspaper, what is the headline? Even when you turn on the newest primetime drama, it is most likely a crime show, or it is a show that shows roommates, friends, or colleagues pitted against each other. All those, Real Housewives and, all those type of situations, yeah. Even though it may be a sad reality, it is still a very real reality. There are countries that are worn. There are countries that are worn, torn, or in the midst of a national tragedy of some sort. But what you don't see is organizations that are there to lend a helping hand or try to heal the region in some way. This is the truth of any society. So therefore, since that is reality, all that we see on a repeated daily basis, then this is the reality we have adjusted to. And that is the side of the law of correspondence that manifests itself in our daily lives. As above, so below. This is where we have to become vigilant in our own thoughts and emotions. We cannot play into society's negativity lest our own thoughts and emotions become toxic to our desires. If we allow ourselves to become bombarded with negative energy, then we become negative energy. And we block our vibrational alignment and sense of oneness, and we begin to act negatively and ultimately block what the universe has to offer us. Okay. The law of cause and effect. No matter what, that's chapter 5. No matter what discipline we follow, whether it be Christianity or otherwise, one teaching is constant. That is the teaching that nothing happens outside of a grand design. Whether we believe that is the design of God, or whether we believe in science or New Age train of thought, this is the law that states that very thing. In the Christian version, it is you reap what you sow. If you have a field and you only plant thorny, poisonous plants, then that is what you will be returned. Or if you do wrong to someone, then you will have wrong done to you. This is the law that is what you put in is what you will get out. Physicists describe this as every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The kind of like the question, what happens when an irresistible cannonball hits an immovable post? If you put heat on something, then it will ultimately get hot. This is the line of thinking this law follows. New Age thinkers are more likely to call this the karmic law, the law of karmic return. The truth of it all is this: every thought, word, and action has a reaction or consequence attached to it. Nothing happens by chance. Our thoughts, words, and physical actions will result in a certain outcome depending on what those thoughts, words, or actions are. If they are negative, then we will get negative. If they are positive and peaceful, then we will get positive and peaceful. Most people question if actual thoughts and words are actions. The answer to that is yes, it is. By definition, we actually, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, act upon thoughts and words. And to even have a thought, a deep subconscious reason or trigger causes that thought. Then our thoughts become our words. We have to actually put forth an actual moving energy for words to come out of our mouths. And our words become our actions. And in turn, our actions become our habits or lifestyles. If someone tells you you aren't worth anything, or that you are useless or no good, then that is what you will act upon or react to. Believe it or not, success is a habit or a lifestyle. How many people do you know that are successful and do the same things or live the same way they did before they were successful? Not many, if at all. Because if nothing changes, nothing's going to change. This is why we have to be sure that our thoughts, words, and actions are in correct alignment with what we are trying to achieve or manifest, in line with our desires. So to sum things up so far, we have to achieve and maintain a sense of oneness with the world and people around us. Next, we have to be sure that we are putting out the correct vibrations. Then we have to act upon what it is that we are seeking. We have to assure that whatever it is we are seeking has an achievable outcome in our physical world. And we have to be sure that our thoughts, actions, and deeds are in line with the desired outcome, so that we are putting out what we want in return. This will move us to the next universal law. The law of compensation. I want to read this one so bad. But let me see. This is 14. Gotta give us 28. Yeah, so I'm gonna read this last one because that'll take us right past the halfway mark. That way, on chapter 2, I'll have to read a page less than what I read today. All right, so chapter 6, the law of compensation. This is where we start to actually see the culmination of results of the previously stated laws. This is where we begin to see rewards such as money, peace, love, inheritance, friendship, or blessings that we have aligned ourselves with. This is also where we see the consequences of any negative thoughts, actions, words, or energies that we align ourselves with or put forth. While this is certainly not the most important of the universal laws, it is the one we see in the physical reality in things that we obtain, either material or immaterial. This is usually where people give up. It is at this point that people see negative results and say that the universal laws are a complete falsehood or scam. In the worst case scenarios, this is where people lose all hope and decide that the universe is against them and that there is no reason to strive for anything better, when in reality this law has not come into play yet. Another law I will discuss later on, another law I will discuss in a later chapter is actually in force. And they are sometimes mistaken as interchangeable, which is a complete wrong thought. If you think you are at this point, then either you are, and if you are seeing negative results, you need to go back and reestablish yourself and recognize which of the previous laws you are not in agreement or alignment with, and change to make yourself in agreement or alignment with those forces. Or you need to realize that you are not at this point yet, at least not in the way you feel you should be. And you need to think about the law we will discuss in chapter 9 and see it for what it is, pardon me. Nobody said that your results would be instant. I mean, chances are that most of your life has been seriously out of line with the aforementioned laws in the universe as a whole, as well as actively resisting what has been set forth in the grand design. So since most of these laws and the actions required to align ourselves with them are mostly learned actions, then it will take some time to unlearn what we think we know and relearn what we need to begin turning things around in our favor. And relearn what we need to be turning, and relearn what we need to begin turning around in our favor. It's one of them misprints again. And this will take time. Just like it took you time to learn how to walk, talk, coexist, and it even took you time to learn what you learned in school. Because all in all, the universe, space, time, and energy are infinite. And time is not actually defined. Wikipedia defines time as set below. Time is the indefinite continued progress of existence in events that occur in apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present to the future. Time is a component quantity of various measurements used to sequence events, to compare the duration of events or the intervals between them, and to quantify rates of change of quantities in material reality or in the conscious experience. Time is often referred to as the fourth dimension, along with the three spatial dimensions. Our concept of time is really just a method we use to measure the space between certain events. Actual time is indefinite or never ending. So to avoid getting into discussions of quantum, in theoretical physics, we need to understand. What we need to understand is that on the grand scale of things, the grand design, what we consider to be forever, or at the very least a really long time, is not really all that long. And if that doesn't help, then you can fall back on the old saying, patience is a virtue. However, in today's fast-paced world, we have developed a sense of urgency or a need of immediate gratification, and most of us do not possess that virtue. Notice, I want to point something out. The last sentence of the definition of time. Time is often referred to as the fourth dimension, along with the three spatial dimensions. Never heard of no shit like that, have you? Guess who has? I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about the people that sponsor what you were taught, that control and sponsor and dictate what the children that are in school now are taught. They know this shit. I'm gonna move on. However, keep in mind that the collective is much bigger than the individual. So just hang in there and just keep yourself in alignment and you will see results. Another thing most of us don't realize is that even though we don't see the big end result, the grand finale, so to speak, we are being rewarded in much smaller, more subtle ways. By that I mean we wake up feeling more peaceful. We get through our day without as much stress and drama following us. We have a calmer, quieter existence with our family, friends, and with the people in general. Maybe you didn't make 1,000 more. Maybe you just made $10 more. But that was more than you had yesterday, or more than you thought you would make at all. Maybe more people smile at you or treat you friendlier. Maybe you noticed the one news story about the organization helping someone and then find out later that the same news report was a story on another mass shooting. Hold on. Maybe you noticed the one news story about the organization helping someone and then find out later that in the same news report was a story on another mass shooting. Okay. These are subtle signs that things are beginning to change and that you are on the right path. You just have to stay on it. You just have to stay on it now and avoid the insecurities, the anxieties, and the negativity that is trying to disrupt you. It's basically saying that instead of the negativity being the first thing plastered in your face, you'll run across something positive instead. It's the little things you pay attention to. Just like when they say when you're dealing with somebody, pay attention to the little things. That's how you pick up on shit. But anyway, man, that's the first part of it. I'm gonna go on and cut it short from here. That was page 16. There's 29 pages in this book. Like I said, it's a short read. I could get it out of the way, but I'm gonna cut it halfway, man. I want y'all to really be able to, internalize, digest, and ponder on those. You know what I mean? Especially if you have no knowledge of them, or this is your introduction to them. Reason why I decided to do a video on these is because the things that I've learned and realized through studying this type of information, man, is that all of this stuff that we haven't been taught is relevant. It's relevant, man. And like I said, I never underestimate the power of planting a seed. You know, I know how utilizing this information has opened up the world to me. Who's to say it won't open up the world for you? You know? Anyway, man, y'all be safe, be easy. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man.